Ryan Brown from J. Ryan Brown Law here today, and we are going to talk about behavioral incentive dates. And that is something that has to do with probation and having your probation terminated, etc. And we're going to try to do just a quick rundown of what it is so that you know it exists. And if you have any questions, you could always follow up with us and ask us more detailed questions. But the purpose of a behavioral incentive date is to reward someone who has never been convicted of a felony before. Okay? And the reward is having your probation term shortened if you are in compliance with all of the required conditions. So let's do there's a couple prerequisites, okay? So the sentence must be 12 months incarcerated or less, followed by a term of probation, okay? The defendant must have never been convicted and the defendant must have never been convicted of a felony before, all right? First offender and conditional discharge in the past would be no problem as long as they were successfully completed. So this would apply to things like a 5 to 12 months or 10 years probation, sentences like that, okay? The way it works is the judge must set a behavioral incentive date. He has to by law in these situations, no further than 3 years after the plea date. So if you pled to 10 years of probation on January 1st of 2020, then the latest your behavioral incentive date could be, as long as you met the other requirements, would be January 1st, 2023, okay? The judge can do it earlier. He could give you a 1-year behavioral incentive date or a 2-year behavioral incentive date or anything like that, but no longer than after 3 years. Now, the thing is, all conditions of probation have to be met. So if you have to pay $5,000 of restitution in maybe a theft case or a criminal damage case, that has to be paid off in order to take advantage of the behavioral incentive. If you owe fines, you've got to have those paid off. If you're supposed to do a drug and alcohol class, you've got to have that done. You have to be, you don't need to violate your probation, things like that. You've got to be completely in compliance. And if you are, it's a huge advantage. Some people sometimes get 20 years of probation. The ability to have that terminated after 3 years is a immense benefit to the probationer, and it could save them years of anxiety and angst of having probation hanging over their head. And it's very important. The law says that the judge shall set the date, but it doesn't mean it just happens. You need to make sure your lawyer is asking the judge to get that in the paperwork, get that on the record. And if you were sentenced without one, you can always look into that and see if there's any remedies. However, the behavioral incentive date is a good option. It is a good thing the legislature has done that can help people get off of probation. If you have questions about behavioral incentive dates, and if you're eligible to have your probation terminate early if you're in compliance, then please check us out at jryanbrownlaw.com or shoot us a text or call us at 470-635-1725. That's 470-635-1725.